So, for those of you who don't know, Halo 5 is probably not coming to PC. And that kinda stinks. I used to play Halo all the time when I was back on the console, and I kinda would like to play it again. But what upsets me so much about this isn't necessarily even the fact that Halo probably isn't going to come to PC, at least Halo 5. It's the reasons that they gave. And by they, I mean Phil Spencer. And by Phil Spencer, I mean an asshole. Phil Spencer is the head of the Microsoft Xbox division. And he really wants you to buy an Xbox One. During a media Q&A session at one of Microsoft's conferences, people were obviously very interested to know where exactly Halo 5 is if Phil Spencer is spending all this time talking about how these exclusives that were part of the Xbox are supposed to be coming to PC and how it's all coming together and how Microsoft really cares about PC gamers. Because he says so. And if that's the case, then where's Halo 5 on PC? Why haven't you said it's coming to PC? How come you haven't given us a release date? After all, we've heard the feedback loud and clear. Oddly enough, this was an April 1st posting. Sure, you've heard the feedback loud and clear. That was never in doubt. What's in doubt is what you intend to do with it. Now, there's a lot of articles in this. It's kind of big news for a lot of people. I'll use PC Gamer as an example. This article in particular by Sean Prescott and Wes Fenlon. Check it out if you wish, but it's mostly full of just PR, rambling, and other such nonsense. Because Phil Spencer, as the voice of Microsoft's Xbox division in most cases, he is an expert at saying a lot of words and not really meaning anything. I mean, the top comment on the post is, I think most PC gamers right now are tired of what Phil Spencer has to say on the topic of PC gaming. So let's take a little look-see at the thing he actually is saying here and why it makes absolutely no sense, and ultimately this is the reason why I'm just miffed at all this. According to the article, Spencer, and this is in quotes, Spencer declined to state that all Microsoft-published games will hit both platforms. Instead, games will release for Xbox or Windows 10, depending on their suitability for either platform. And remember that, that's the important bit. I'll say it again. Instead, games will release for Xbox or Windows 10, depending on their suitability for either platform. So, if Halo 5 is probably not coming to PC, then it makes us be logically led to believe that Phil Spencer doesn't think that Halo 5 has suitability for the PC. Which is kind of weird, considering that Halo is a first-person shooter. Phil Spencer? What the fuck? What an absolutely idiotic thing to say. There is no better place for first-person shooters than the PC. If we're going on suitability, which apparently we are now, then why is Halo even on a console? Consoles are the worst way to enjoy a first-person shooter. Why are they on consoles if we're talking suitability? Just the simple input methods, mouse and keyboard, are obviously so much better than having the console controller like you do on the Xbox One. And that's ignoring the resolution and the graphics and the frame rates and the modability and the user-generated content. This has absolutely nothing to do with suitability for a platform, and this has everything to do with please buy an Xbox One. Halo 5? What do you know? It doesn't have split screen for the first time ever. You really need to buy an Xbox One so you could play with your friends, because the days of playing split screen with your buddy, those are gone. Because it all comes down to please buy our Xbox One, and they're going to do it in the worst possible way for consumers. Game exclusives. And that's how it is right now with the consoles. As someone who plays exclusively on PC, if you take away exclusives, why would I ever buy an Xbox One? Should we make the service better? Should we make the console more powerful? No. Well, no. We'll just say that if you don't play on a console, you can't play these games. What's that? You used to be able to play these games on your PC in the past? Well, fuck you. Buy an Xbox One, asshole. Suitability, my fuzzy orange ass. I mean, that's a dumb thing to say. But let's move on with some of the other things that he says here. I don't want to make it some kind of artificial mandate, because then I think we end up with Franken games. Games that really weren't meant for a certain platform. And because some suit said, hey, everything's got to run on both platforms, you end up with something people don't want. Talk about someone whose head is so far up their asshole they can see the sunshine. Now the inner libertarian in me is screaming, why are you telling me what I do and do not want? Nah, but let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? I don't want to make it some kind of artificial mandate. Alright, well, good. You shouldn't have just one doctrine that you follow, and you shouldn't have one rule that you're going to stick with no matter what. Rules should be flexible, and policy should be flexible if it works best for the consumer. But how unusual is it that he says this next part directly in reference to being asked about Halo 5? I think we end up with Franken games that really weren't meant for a certain platform. But I guess that all ties back with the suitability, huh? Because you're going to try and tell us, Mr. Spencer, that for some reason Halo 5 just wouldn't work on PC. It just couldn't happen. I mean, it would just be so unsuitable if people with the mouse and keyboard and 1440p and 144 frames a second were chugging this baby out and they were playing MLG games and they were having fun. No, it just wouldn't be suited. It wouldn't be right. It would be a Franken game. It would be a sin against nature, wouldn't it? Halo on PC is just a sin against nature. What, you think I would sit down and start playing Halo 5 on my PC and say to myself, this is just wrong. It feels so wrong. Dear God, what have I done? No. I would play Halo and I would enjoy playing Halo on my PC. You know, without having to pay that huge graphical sacrifice for the standard of 60 frames a second, like the Xbox One does, because the Xbox One runs like a quadruple amputee. This article made me throw my hands up in the air and say, what the hell, Phil Spencer, what the hell? This is why this is the top comment. And speaking of comments, the one next down, I think this sums it all up in an excellent, excellent way. None of that makes any sense. Any console game could be on PC because we can play it with a controller. This is just BS PR from this guy. All you have to do is tell us that you won't put Halo on PC because otherwise there's zero reason to own a 900p 20fps machine. Don't string us along thinking we're stupid. And ultimately, this is one of the huge reasons that the PC gaming community doesn't give a shit about the things Phil Spencer says and why we lack any respect for him and Microsoft. You need exclusives like Halo if you are even going to have any chance in hell of selling your shitty Xbox One. Suitability, my asshole. How old does he think we are? 7? Does he think that anybody is just gonna nod their head and stroke their chin and say, huh, that makes a lot of sense. I never thought that maybe the PC isn't suitable for this first-person shooter. That used to be on the PC. Now give us your money. Buy more rec packs. However, in Phil Spencer's somewhat defense, in a way, I kind of feel a little sympathy for the guy. I mean, he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place in terms of the PR outlook on this situation. Remember when Quantum Break was announced it was coming out for PC? What did the fanboys of the Xbox did? Yeah, other people are enjoying our games. They fucking shat the bed. They couldn't believe it. They could not fathom the idea that Phil Spencer would betray them by letting people on the PC play what was originally going to be an exclusive for them. Fuck me sideways. When we joke about console peasants, it's a joke. But when console peasants are angry that other people get to play their games, it's legitimate anger. They feel betrayed. Because learning from history is for suckers. Phil Spencer has one of two options here, alright? He can say, okay, yeah, Halo 5 is coming for the PC. It makes total sense as a first-person shooter. Its suitability would be perfect. It's an excellent type of market, and it's an excellent place for us to sell even more copies of Halo and keep the franchise going. And we make more money, people on PC get to play Halo. Hooray! But if he does say that the PC is getting Halo, now all the people who bought the Xbox One are going to be angry because somebody else got it and they thought it would be an exclusive, because if other people get to play it, well, that makes their experience worse somehow, and we just can't have more people enjoying games. We have to have the best exclusives to prove that the Xbox is better. Ugh. So from that perspective, I understand. Yes, I think Stone Fox Media is a total console fanboy. He has nothing going on between his ears. But from that perspective, I do understand why Phil Spencer would say this. He wants to appear as if he is giving his own people, the people who have already bought the Xbox One, the people who have invested all that money into the Xbox. He wants to appear as if he is on their side. He wants to be the guy that people who have an Xbox look up to. They want to say, this guy is watching out for me. This guy is trying to make me feel like I got a good deal. He's trying to make me feel like I got a great value and I made a good purchasing decision. He doesn't want to come off as the guy that is looked up to or down at by Xbox fanboys or Xbox owners alike, because they're not the same thing. And they don't want to look at him and think to themselves, well, whose side is he on? Is he on my side? Or is he on the PC side? I mean, all these exclusives are going to the PC. I mean, are we getting PC game? Oh, yeah, that's right. We can't handle it because we bought a potato. I just have so many questions right now. Why won't you just put Halo on PC and make all the money from doing that? Why would you not expand your audience in such a huge way? Don't you think that the Xbox has enough merits on its own that people will buy it just because it doesn't have Halo? Or do you not have faith in your product, Mr. Spencer? Do you not have faith in your product that you have to rely on taking games away from other people, like Halo, so that people will buy your crummy potato box? Sad panda. Listen, all that said, I'm not ticked off that Halo 5 probably isn't coming to PC. I've got more games that I know what to do with. Alright? If I don't get to play Halo 5, okay, alright, fine. Fine, it's fine. But I don't like it when someone comes out and says, to the effect, we don't want you playing Halo on PC, because that'll just highlight how much better the PC is. We don't want to put this game and have it be side by side on a PC and a console because it will make the Xbox One look like garbage. Maybe you should have thought of that stuff before you made a garbage console. Maybe you should have thought of that before you decided, we'll spend all this money giving you this stupid-ass Kinect nobody wants, instead of pushing for our games to have a standard of 1080p and 60 frames per second. So yes, Xbox head Phil Spencer on PC Gaming, we've heard the feedback loud and clear. We just don't give a fuck. So sit down, shut up, and buy more of our rec packs.